Down here, I'm just gonna let you guys sort yourselves out.
That was a lot of party. That was a work party.
Alright, we're taking a Jaeger shot.
Yeah. It's very unfortunate that it came.
Right here.
Okay,
All right.
let's do this.
Go ahead.
Welcome in to the DNVR Avalanche Train Podcast, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR when you sign up for a new account to get amazing odds boosts every single day. AJ, Rudo, Megan, coming to you after, what made more sense? Whatever that was or this hockey game? Because honestly, I think it's pretty close.
Whatever that was made a lot more sense.
I'm just disappointed
A lot
you
more.
didn't start the pod with all aboard.
Could have, probably should have. Avs win over the Anaheim Ducks 5-4. There's the Nichushkin shirt everyone's wanted for all time. Go buy it right now. It's out there. Go put a train on your chest.
Avery wants to know where you got your dress. I don't know what that is.
Shein.
Great.
There.
Can they get comments on their show?
All right.
Comment on your show.
There's like a million miles of ground to cover in this hockey game, so I'm gonna try.
I'm gonna try.
Floating. Shit's everywhere. Hold on.
I'm gonna try.
3, 2, 1, go.
The first period was kind of slow, a little bit all over the place, at least in the first 10. The Avs do, though, get the first goal of the game from JT Compher, and then can proceed to not score on multiple 5-on-3s in like 6 minutes of power play time. They're still up 1-0 after the first, though. They get up 2-0 in the second period because Mikko Rantanen exists and is good at hockey sometimes. And then from there, the game proceeds to completely fall apart as the Ducks score 4 unanswered goals, varying shapes and sizes, which we will go through. The third period is just a catastrophe on all shapes, imaginations, whatever you can do. Somehow, the Avs get every call in the universe late in the third period, tie it up off of goals from, what was it? It was Mikko and Mac, right?
Yep.
And then they get it to overtime, and McKinnon just wins the game well into overtime. Mm-hmm. And I don't understand any parts of how we got here.
Well said.
Let's wind it back. Let's actually get into it. Let's talk about it a little bit. First period, I don't think you have, or I don't have major problems with it. I'll say it that way. But it certainly felt like there was potentially more to get there from Colorado. Let's just get these power plays out of the way first in the first period. It's not that the Avs played them terribly.
Yeah.
The puck just didn't go in the net. 3 posts, multiple great opportunities. Are you guys content with the Avs first period, or did you want more?
You absolutely wanted more. When you have 2 different 5-on-3s and you have the last of them comes on a 4-minute penalty, you need to score on one of those. Like, that's honestly, like, yeah, you want more. You don't. You honestly, you look at it and you say, yeah, they hit 3 posts. They come very close to busting the game wide open in the first period. But yeah, you absolutely want more from that. What you did in the power play later in the game is what you wanted to do in the first period, so you don't have to mess with overtime to begin with. you had your opportunities and they just didn't cash in on them, and that was kind of the theme until the very end of the game when they got opportunities and all of a sudden everything that had gone the other direction against the Avs went Colorado's way. And so yeah, you get even just one power play goal in that first period, and you go in 2-0 into the second period, and then if they play the same kind of second period that they did, I mean, it could go very, very differently than how it ended up.
For sure.
So yeah, you absolutely wanted more there. And I think that's going to be a common theme of what we talk about tonight is up until the very end when they had to have it, starting with that power play with about 7 minutes to go in the third period.
Yep.
You wanted more at all in all facets at every turn from Colorado. You just wanted more execution, more finish, because the process of creation, they did a great job there. They had a bunch of scoring chances. They just didn't quite cash in on them.
I think that is going to be true of how we break down a little bit of this game, but it isn't a bad first period. It's significantly better than their first period against LA yesterday, but they leave a bit on the table when they have the man advantage. I think they only get one shot on net, 7 attempts blocked, 3 posts. That's just a rough go, and if not for a JT Compher goal in that frame, you look at how the rest of this game plays out and see that as missed opportunity left on the table that could have made their lives a little bit simpler, because there were many points, especially towards the end of this game, where it didn't feel like they could win it anymore. It felt like it was just a little bit out of reach. And you look back on that first period and see an opportunity to have gained a little more footing than they had. Though I will say I did think they started the second period and honestly had a pretty good second period up until the final minute. So I don't think it harmed their momentum in a negative way. I think they responded in intermission pretty well too. But that being said, it leaves a lot to be desired just because of how much opportunity to have 4 power plays, 2 of which have 5-on-3 or 3-on-5 opportunity.
That arguably the best stretch of hockey they played in this period was the first 10 or so minutes of the second period.
Yeah.
And they didn't score.
Yeah.
That's the one stretch where I'm like, okay, I'm really not asking for that much more out of them in that stretch, except for putting the puck in the net.
Yep.
And I say that very easily when the entire objective of hockey is to put the puck in the net.
Yeah.
Does the process matter? Of course.
Yeah. Well, and because last night, we were talking about how they played like dog shit, and through 2 periods,
Just got
they
away
had
with it. Yeah.
No business being in a 2-2 hockey game. They come out in the third period and they get the job done. Tonight, it's the exact opposite of that, where through 2 periods, they should be running away with this hockey game.
Yep.
They go into another third period tied 2-2, and they come out and get their head kicked in to start it. So, you are talking about the process definitely does matter. How you get there like that, and that's why when we're talking about left opportunities in the first period, if they're up 2-0 and they play the way they do at the start of the second period, boy, you really, really think this game looks differently.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of different factors there. If the Avs get a 3-0 lead, Anaheim almost certainly goes away in this game, things like that.
You sure would hope so.
Whatever you want to chalk it up to, Avs not quite executing well enough, Lucas Dostal playing well, a little bit of luck, whatever. The Avs weren't getting the pucks to go in the first 50 minutes of this game, really. It was a struggle for them to get the puck to go in the net, even if they did get 2. With that being said, I look at the second period. Well, the third period's his own thing. Let's talk about the second period first.
Yeah.
Even the goals they gave up as a whole, second period probably their best period. Agree? Disagree? We'll start there.
Do we count overtime?
No, you don't get to, overtime's not a period.
Okay. Then yeah.
I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think we've seen a lot of this year where the Avs played a good period and they get bodied by their own, not just mistakes, but gargantuan-sized James and the Giant Peach rolling down the hill level of mistakes.
Man, James and the Giant Peach, that's a reference.
I got a couple in the bag, all right? It's not that they played a bad period. It's that you look at the mistakes they make that punish them, and you just it's
When-
like they just turn their brain off.
When they finally break through with the Miko goal to make it 2-0.
Yep,
You feel like, okay,
they've got control of the game.
here we
now.
go. They're
Yeah.
controlling everything. They're fine. They've now been rewarded for it. It's a great play by Rantanen. It's a great backhand. And you feel like, okay, now it's time for them to kind of start running downhill with the game.
Yep.
And they can really kind of set themselves up to have an easy third period here. And the exact opposite happens. They just start shooting themselves in the foot. Like Yosemite Sam
Thing
style.
was an automatic tonight.
Yeah, like just it was really disappointing, honestly. Just they've done
For
all
sure.
the good. They've done all the good work. They have a 2-0 lead. You blow the chances in the first period. You are frustrated, and halfway through the game, you're up 2-0. Like you're like, yeah, okay, this could have gone better, but we're still in really, really good position here. And then it just kind of falls apart for them.
It's a pretty good first 25 minutes to string together, and kind of similarly, but an expiring power play leads to them getting hemmed in their own end. And
Yep.
this is kind of the story of the next 2 goals in the 5 minutes in the remaining of the second period is not being able to get out of their own end, getting hemmed in, can't break out pucks to save their life. And that's just not, when you think of the Colorado Avalanche, it's not particularly a struggle that comes to mind, but it is one in a lineup that is missing key parts of their decor.
It's
The puck moving elements of it.
Well,
with no Byram and no Makar.
100%.
Big time problem for them in their own zone.
and it's interesting because you go back to the first goal that they give up. And look, a team like the Avs who has an expectation of being able to move pucks out quickly, sometimes your forwards cheat. Sometimes they're looking to break out of the zone quickly. Mm-hmm. Both Lars Eller and Alex Newhook
Yeah.
are converging on a guy at the blue line, and both of them stay high.
You know,
And
well, and both of them just wave sticks at him and
Right.
think the other guy is going to do it.
Right.
If you watch immediately after Vetrano scores, watch Lars Eller,
come right over to
turns
Newhook.
around
Yeah.
and looks at Alex Newhook and is like,
buddy.
you need to make a play there. I walk him all the way down the wall into you, and you just, it's a lazy stick check. Instead of Newhook stepping into him and asserting himself physically, it's a lazy stick check that they are able to fight through. And it turns into a goal against because it's the lack of commitment to that little detail. Eller does a fine job walking him all the way out to the top of the zone. You love that. That guy's moving away from the goal with the puck. You're like, yes, please continue in that direction. And as soon as he stops, instead of ensuring that puck gets out, Newhook does not assert himself.
Yep.
And
He's casually floating high into the zone.
and just tries to get away with the little stick check. I don't know if he thinks that he's going to poke that puck loose and it's going to spring Eller going the other way. I don't know what the reasoning is there, but it just wasn't good enough between the two of them, and I primarily put that on Newhook.
And I want to pin it on Newhook too, because the consistent issue we saw the Avs make in this game was just boneheaded decisions.
Yeah.
The Newhook one there, the other goal.
On Miko.
What is Miko doing?
Dude, it's so
What
bad.
is Miko Rantanen doing on Anaheim's second goal? I would love to ask Miko what the game plan was there and get an honest answer from him. Because I just don't understand what the plan was floating out high into the zone with the
Yeah.
puck. What was he going to do with it?
And Devon Taves is supposed to be a safety valve there. Miko takes the puck directly to him.
Yep.
But doesn't give it to him. And Taves is now just like, I'm in the way of
Like
everything
2
here.
feet away from him. Like,
I'm not a safety valve. I can't help you. I can't do anything. You're on your own now. You've worked yourself into this position. And instead of treating it like overtime where he just retreats into the neutral zone and is like, this sucks, but let's live to fight another day, he tries to make a desperation play that goes very, very poorly. And Adam Henrique ends up completely by himself and just beats Frankie.
It's tough because you know in his mind he wants to keep that possession off the draw. But Henrique is on him and pressuring him so hard that he does need to seek some relief there. Even if it means coming out of the zone or relying on Taves, it's better than turning the puck over to Henrique, who is coming on him hard and has a little bit of that edge then to just burst through the neutral zone and in on the breakaway with speed. That's why he's pressuring Mikko Rantanen there.
Yeah.
And like,
Walks himself into these problems, and you're like, man, you're making it easy on the defense.
Right.
They want you doing this. And you look at you do look at that difference. Similar situations. How do they handle it? Mikko tries to do something desperate, and it turns into a breakaway.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just tough.
Yeah, it's
Really tough.
And part of it is, look, no hockey game is perfect. You're going to make mistakes all the time.
Yep.
But one, you can't make the critical mistakes, certainly not as often as the Avs did in this game.
Yeah.
And two, it really, really cannot be your best players making those mistakes.
Yeah, because to that point, like Rantanen had given you the second goal, but
Yep.
you were talking about it's 2 nights in a row where you were looking at your top line going, what are you guys doing?
Not getting enough out of
Like
them. Yeah.
when you give that up, like you're talking about beating the Ducks. The Ducks have a hard time scoring because the Ducks aren't very good. They're brutal defensively and they don't score a lot on offense. It's a pretty bad combination for winning a hockey game. And when you just hand them the first one, you could kind of chalk that up to, hey, they outplay you there. And the second one, you just give a breakaway
Yep.
to Adam Henrique, who's going to be one of their better players. You just hand it to him. If Frankie makes a save there, you love that. You get away with it. You're very lucky.
But you shouldn't have been there in the
But
first place.
yeah, you're talking about creating scoring chances for them. They aren't having to do the work there. And that's where the frustration is they had spent a period and a half just pouring on chances and creating so many opportunities and
give it
breakaways and
away
odd man
so
rushes.
quickly, yeah.
And to just hand it over with laziness like that. That's what frustrates you. If they outplay you, they outplay you.
Yep.
You tip the cap and you say, hey, that's just life sometimes. But you look at those 2 goals, they aren't outplaying you as so much as you're kicking open that door.
You're
Way more so
giving
than
them
Henry
that
goal
they're
than the first
taking
for
it.
Toronto goal.
Yeah.
Way more so than Henry goal.
Agree. And there's more of that in the third, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
But it's Megan, do you have a real solution that can be implemented here, or do you just have to go to Mikko and be like, hey man, you just got to be better?
For Mikko specifically, yeah, I even think this is one of those plays that he probably knows exactly how he messed up, and it is likely something that is going to be broken down with him anyways. But generally speaking, I think there is a little bit of a sleepiness sometimes the Avs catch themselves in off the draw, no matter the situation on the ice, that has cost them, whether it be an ozone faceoff or sometimes in their own end, it's especially costly, and it's directly led to goals against because they are not engaged enough right off the hat. And even if, because we know that they are a team that sometimes struggles at the face-off dot, even if they don't have that possession, they still need to be engaged from the moment that play begins. And sometimes I feel like they're a step behind it. So it's not even specific to just Mikko Rantanen in this case, but even in this third period, that Brett Leeson goal, I think, is the result of Avs not being engaged enough off the draw. And so as a result, I think that would just be a conversation about why it's important to be involved every second, shift by shift, including off the draw, even if you don't win.
It's a great point, especially with this play from Mikko. You should know where you're going with the puck.
Yeah,
you
there
should
should be
know what you're going to do
What's
with
the
it.
plan?
Some kind of plan, yeah.
Yeah, and there very clearly was not.
Yeah.
Or if there was, it was a very bad plan.
And like you look at, I think part of my frustration was you look at how the Avs gave up the third goal to LA last night. They get the 4-2 lead.
Yep.
The very next shift, your top line comes out.
And they have a
Nathan
lapse.
McKinnon does this
Yep.
exact same thing. He gets up high in the zone. He's got his back to the goal. Blindly, he turns around and he tries to spin and shoot the puck back in. He
misplays
just
it,
whiffs it.
yep.
And it turns it over, and it turns into a 4-on-2 the other way that Adrian Kempe ends up scoring on. And then you do it again tonight. Rantanen, he goes high into the zone, blindly just throws a puck back into
And like
whatever is behind him, which he doesn't know. He just throws it into it, and it turns into a goal against. And it's that kind of like self-defeating. These are your best players doing this to you, and that's why it was frustrating to be at the end of the second period in a 2-2 game that you had dominated.
Well, and part of this conversation, especially with Mac and Mikko, is look, they do turn over pucks. They do try high risk plays at times that don't work. But a lot of the time you look at those plays and say, oh, okay, well, if it connected, that's very likely a goal.
Yeah.
These plays, if it goes right,
what happens?
Do the Avs even have possession of the puck?
What best case scenario here? Mikko Rantanen does this, and the puck just goes into the corner,
right?
And like you're cycling again, and you're like, well, maybe something happens. There was no high upside here, and the downside was astronomical. The downside was what we saw.
Yeah,
it's a breakaway the other way.
It firsthand.
Yep.
On that note, someone else in this game, solid night, picked up 2 assists.
Yeah.
Is known to get on the tracks, as they say. Y'all have been wanting the Val Nichushkin shirt for forever, all right? It's finally here. We finally got it for you. It's a banger.
It really is awesome.
I don't know, like genuinely maybe one of our favorite shirts that we've ever done.
The DNVR and the smoke,
It's
I think,
so
is
good.
it's such a great
so
touch,
good.
but all of it ends up great.
So it's out here. You can go get it right now at the DNVR locker. There's a link in the description if you want to grab it that way. Jump on it. Go get yourself a shirt. Be looking fly. Have it. I don't know how fast they'll ship. They might not be here for the first round, but if the Avs make the second round, I think you'll definitely have them.
I mean, I have no idea.
I'm not.
You're looking
No
at me like
promises
I'm
on
like,
that, but
this is one of those things I just don't know about.
very true. Yes, the gold chain is a beautiful touch
Yeah.
on the train.
Couldn't do a Nichushkin
Without it.
Yeah.
Jump on that. Also, I've got a pick of the week for you. And I'm sorry, AJ, but I got to do it to you based on tonight. If AJ says he lacks confidence in something, bet on that person. That's our pick of the week based on tonight.
Absolutely. I wish we had that clip. No, it's fine. We had a lot going on tonight. It'll be on social media.
It's a crazy night for sure. Because that's just the vibe AJ's putting out into the world right now. So
sometimes it's your day and sometimes it's not.
Hey, if someone can make some money off of it not being your day.
I joked about how Mikko was going to score 4 goals on his next 12 shots. I need to actually go back and see because I think it's pretty close to that's what happened.
It was very quick turnaround.
Yeah. After he got to 50, I said he was going to score 4 in his next 12 shots, and now I want to go and check.
There you go. Shirts will be in next week from the printer, from D-Line himself. So
Perf.
Get them in for the playoffs if you want them. Also, get in with DraftKings. Use the DNVR code. When you bet $5, you get $150 in free bets with a new account and the DNVR code. So you might as well splash those bets a little bit on a Mikko goal, on a Mac goal, on an Avs win, whatever you're feeling. Do it with DraftKings Sportsbook. You must be 21 or older, Colorado only. Other terms, restrictions, and conditions apply. See DraftKings.com for details or the show notes down below. Also works. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. And it's all void in Ohio. Today is a great advertisement for Fubo TV. Lots of people having trouble trying to get this game. Is it on TNT? You need altitude. Where can you find the game? You can find it on Fubo TV. You got it. You got your altitude fully covered with Fubo. You can get it today at FuboTV.com/DNVR. There's a little QR code right on the screen there if you want to jump in with it. It's got over 140 other channels, so it's got a ton of television if that's your thing. Obviously, altitude, the most important thing. If you're a Quinnipiac fan, I hope you are enjoying your dub. You could watch college hockey over on Fubo, too.
I have a hat coming my way.
A Quinnipiac hat? Nice.
Yep, as a condition of... I didn't even make a bet. It was just told to me, if they win, you have to wear a QU hat on your show. And I said, okay. That's how the conversation
This is just
went.
a thing that's happening to you.
This was a thing. Somebody texted me. Somebody who went there. So
there you go. I mean, Devontae's went there, right?
yes,
Okay. If Devontae's bought you a Quinnipiac hat, that'd be funny. I'm assuming it wasn't Taves for the
it
record.
was not, but that would rule.
But, anyway, you can watch your Avs with Fubo TV. You can also watch your Nuggets with Fubo TV, who's hurtling towards playoff matchups. So go check them out. Get it today at FuboTV.com/DNVR. You get 15% off your first month of Fubo Pro with the DNVR link. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. Second
your fault,
period
Rudo.
of this. What's my fault?
Chad has blamed you
What did I do?
It's funny. Should read it later.
I can't read.
That's true.
You know.
I know that this is true. This is why you make videos.
Right, exactly. You get into the third period of this hockey game, and this is where I am really frustrated and disappointed with this effort from Colorado. The second period, you made a couple bad mistakes. Okay. You still have a 2-2 game against a bottom feeder in the league. You would really like to see this team go out and take care of their business there. Instead, you got kind of the opposite of that.
After last night, don't you like have a little confidence that they're like, all right, third period,
They can juice it up.
Yeah, they understand the moment that they're in. The division hangs in the balance with these games here. They got this, right? Like, doesn't last night inspire that confidence?
It did for me.
I think the part I'm struggling with is the way in which they get this game back is through, I don't want to say luck, but having the power plays that they were gifted is not a guarantee at any point. And they capitalize on it, which is them creating their own luck. But getting 2 power play chances so close together in the way that they did at the end of this game is not something I would count on every time if I'm the Avs. So
I would not count on that ever again.
That's where I struggle with it a little bit. I also wanted to amend. I was talking about this Vetrano goal in the second period.
Sure.
This is the one I was thinking of, just in case it sounded weird that I said it came on the ends of an expiring penalty, because it was this one. And it was bad.
I can't keep any of these goals straight, to be
All
honest
the Frank
with you.
Vetrano goals that have been scored against the Avs this year, it's fine. It's fine.
And it's
What, 5 of them this year?
and to your point, like, yes, I'm disappointed and frustrated. Yes, I don't want the Avs to do this again, but at the end of this game, they got it together and did what they had to do.
They don't have to capitalize on those power play chances. I want to give them credit for that.
It's definitely well-deserved credit. It's just, you could have made your life a whole lot easier if you just showed up from the start of the period.
Exactly.
Did what you had to do. Instead, you decided you wanted to ride the world's longest roller coaster.
It was fun. Third period was fun.
It was an adventure.
Like, I remember looking up, they're down 4-2, and it's like 11 minutes left in the third, and I was like, in my brain, I know this is a lot of time. Emotionally, I am so spent right now. And then it got wilder from there.
It's we're headed for a crash tonight, for sure.
Yeah.
The Vetrano goal, the third one, this is the one where you need it from Frankie. And obviously they didn't need it. They won the game.
More than any of the others, this is the one you look at Frankie and you just go, bud.
Yeah. Against a team that isn't the Anaheim Ducks, against a better team, that goal pretty much ends the game, right?
I mean, it's just, it's not even, I saw, and I understand it's because it's Gerard that people are overreacting to it, in my opinion, but the move that Vetrano puts on him, like, it's not that big of a deal. It opens up a shot from
beyond the circles.
Way out, just inside the blue line, from the center of the ice, where he can see it, and he just doesn't play it well. Mm-hmm. He's got traffic in front of him, but that's his job.
Yep.
Like, you have to have that, man. I don't know. I don't look at anything else on that play and say, I have a really big problem here, other than that he just doesn't stop that puck. And he really needs to.
I think it's a fair criticism. I think we would all grant Franco's allowances for this being his first game back in a while. And we maybe had a different hope. But this goal specifically, sure, there's a little bit of traffic. It's from up high enough, though, that he should be able to track that puck. And there isn't a screen.
On top of those two things, it's not like he fired a missile.
Right.
That is not a great shot.
And it's not particularly well placed. It doesn't hit a bunch of stuff on the way in. It's not like one of these pucks where it's like, oh, it goes off the top of this guy's foot and then it bounces off this guy's elbow. And what can a goalie do? You look at it and you're just like, what do you mean we're gonna go to? You just stop that puck, man. It's soft.
Up until the end of the game, Lucas Dostal was just outplaying Francouz in this game.
Significantly.
Yeah. I
Like-
think safe to say.
I know people are like, oh, why do these no-name goalies always show up big against the Avs? Y'all might want to get pretty comfortable with Lucas Dostal
I
in
think
Anaheim.
he's so special.
Like, he is one of the better young goaltenders in professional hockey. And there's a pretty good chance he's Anaheim's starter sooner than later. Like, when they move on from John Gibson this summer, it won't just be about getting rid of Gibson and moving on, whatever. It'll be because they want to give their net to this guy. He's a good young goaltender.
And again, worth noting that goal only comes about because the Avs can't get possession of the puck.
Right.
Can't get it out of their own zone in the first place.
Yeah.
Does matter. And then Anaheim's fourth goal. Do you want better there, or is that just absolute nonsense?
On live, I was pretty frustrated with Frankie. On replay, when you see that he makes the stop and that puck just comes out and hits Gerard, who doesn't know it,
Yeah.
who's not doing this intentionally. He was covering his guy, and then he's trying not to run his goaltender over. The puck hits him, and it just goes in. And that's one where you just look at it, and again, I don't know that you're mad that that's the fourth goal. You're mad that you're now down 4-2 to Anaheim, who sucks. You're mad that you're in this position. But when you look at how that goal happens, you don't love the odd man, like, you don't love the scoring chance that exists. But when it goes in, are you really blaming Sam Girard because he's just standing there?
It's like with Taves and the skate on the power play with the broken stick. We don't want to throw Taves into the sun. We don't like it. It's unfortunate that it happens.
It sucks.
But that's not what the play that Taves or Gerard are trying to make in those situations.
And it's, to be honest with you, it's pretty good defense that Girard has on the guy going to the net.
Up to
He's
the point
sticky.
where it bounces off of him on a insane. And like the one thing I will say, I think, is if Frankie plays it a little bit better.
Yeah,
Maybe
I mean,
he
if
controls that rebound.
If there's no rebound
Yeah.
and he just eats it, then that goal never happens. So do you want that differently? Sure. But how many times have we talked about Pavel Francouz, and the one thing that you want differently about
Is
him that
better
he can
rebound
control
control,
is
yeah.
rebound control.
Yeah.
He's going to give rebounds up. That's just going to happen. He's going to give up some rebounds.
And so once again,
And it sucks that rebound goes off of Sam Girard and into the net.
Right.
And Chad is once again having a conversation about plus minus because some people refuse to learn.
is what it is. And the Avs have put themselves in this situation. There's
Like, again, the scoring chance that they give up initially there is not, it's a 2-on-2.
Yep.
You don't like that.
Yep.
You're not, you don't want to be giving that up in that situation. You just went down 3-2. You should be eliminating these things and doing this the other direction. You don't like that. That sucks. You don't love giving that up. And then a hockey thing happens to you.
Right. It's like beyond just our criticisms of Francouz on this goal, or not, because it is such an unusual angle that this puck comes off of Girard. It's what leads up to it too, though. It's the Avs, in my opinion, not being engaged enough off the draw, because this play starts in the Ducks' offensive zone, and they're just more ambitious than the Avs at that point, and they bound up ice on the odd man rush, and the Avs are not prepared immediately after the draw to go chase it. And I think that's part of the problem. Like, it's definitely a goal that shares blame among the team in different ways.
Definitely. And then you get a bad break at the end of it.
Yep.
You just,
Exactly.
all these things lead up to, you got unlucky at the very, very, very
Yep.
end of this.
And because of that, you're down 4-2. My confidence was low, and immediately after this goal, it felt like the Avs were kind of muddling their way through this third period. Obviously, they'd already played bad in it. I really didn't seem like it was going to get better until they draw that power play.
Well, and what you like about it is they draw the power play because they're moving, right?
They get their
Not-
legs going. They get themselves engaged in the hockey game.
Who drew it?
again.
One thing real quick that
Taze through the second one.
It was Gerard.
Yeah, it's
I
Gerard.
wrote
Okay.
facetious.
I see.
one
You got
quick
me.
thing that I do want to touch on before we gloss over it is that after it gets to 4-2, Eric Johnson gets inside outed by Max Jones.
Yeah, that's true.
Frankie
That's
hard
true.
commits and is out of the net, and this is 5-2, and this game is over. This is a true nightmare. And EJ
The
just
recovery of all
barely
recoveries. Yeah.
gets to that recovery and keeps Max Jones from putting that puck in the net. at the time, it was like, what the hell is this? This is a gong show. They should be embarrassed. This is ridiculous. What's going on? Ended up being a very, very, very important little thing that happened in the game.
Jack Johnson, too, just before that, made a smart defensive play. Obviously, it wasn't enough to completely stop, but it derailed a little bit of momentum. Then the Eric Johnson, Max Jones things happens, recovers, which makes the Jack Johnson smart play actually age pretty well. Like, okay, that was all worthwhile in the end.
Yeah.
But it was pure chaos, that entire sequence.
The whole, even like, yes, EJ standing perfectly still. Max Jones walks him, has him beat, but is just slightly off balance enough that EJ, like, diving back stick lift is just enough.
Just enough.
Jones goes spiraling off into
Yeah.
the corner, and then Puck's just sitting there with a yawning cage, and everyone's like,
Yeah.
It's just one of the weirdest hockey plays I've seen in a while.
And then who takes that first penalty that they have score on? It's Max Jones.
I thought he took the second one.
Is it the second one?
Zegras hooked Gerard, and then
You're
Jones.
right. It was
Yeah.
Zegras. I
Yeah.
forgot about the Zegras hook.
Okay,
Devon.
there you go. So
Max Jones with the ultimate throw.
I-
Sorry, there were so many at the end.
I'm
Derek
not going to
Grant
lie.
was
I'm literally
overdone.
looking at it. I would not know this otherwise.
I do not believe that NHL players ever throw games. I don't believe the Ducks threw this game.
Buddy.
If you were going to try and convince me, the penalties and the calls at the end of this game would be a good start. That's all I'm saying.
The hook is soft.
It is.
The trip was the only one of the three calls that end up helping decide this game that
Was
I thought was like,
for sure.
you can't really be mad about this.
Yeah.
The Derek Grant trip on McKinnon later, or the Taves tripping?
The tape stripping.
The Taves tripping.
It was just genuinely wild to me that the Avs got the calls that they got at the end of this game.
Yeah, because we were talking after the first period, like, oh, they're definitely not getting another call, right? And then they just kind of did.
And, you know, credit to the Avalanche. You can only play the game you're in at any given moment. Yep. They made the plays to draw those calls, and then they capitalized on those power plays in the third period.
Yeah, it's funny. We've spent the majority of this pod so far kind of just bagging the Avs.
Yep.
They win this hockey game. We're now able to get to the part where
With
it's
the
like,
cool part,
hey,
yeah.
look, they had to have it.
Yep.
They had to have it.
I don't know that they had to have it.
No, they had to. In this game, they had to have it. In this game, if they wanted to win the game, I'm not talking about bigger picture.
Okay, sure.
I'm not talking
with
about
you.
Central
I'm with
Division,
you.
any of that. I'm saying if they wanted to win this game,
I'm with you.
They had to have it right then. They needed it. They're down 4-2. They needed to get something. And it didn't. It was what, like a 30-second power play? Like they made it look easy when they scored that first one, where you're like, oh, wow, McKinnon cross-teamed to Mikko Rantanen for a one-timer. This is so crazy. How are they ever going to score a goal on the power play again? They went back to the well and it worked. You set up a guy that has 50 goals on the year for you, who has your best shot on your team.
For his 100th point.
Yeah, no
Which
less.
was just
100th point,
poetry.
54th goal, which ties the Avs record. Sometimes the stars align, I suppose. Is how that works.
Yep.
And then we get the greatest clip from the DNVR watch-alongs of all time.
Yes. That second power play. So they win that face-off, and McKinnon, they've got the camera behind the net,
Yeah.
and McKinnon fires one that goes
80 feet.
Yeah,
it's
like-
genuinely like this
you
far
don't.
above
It goes
Dostal's
off
head.
camera.
Yeah.
hits glass and bounces out of the zone, right? And it lands on a duck stick, and they clear it
Yep.
for that 6-second 5-on-3.
Yep.
And so they're like coming back up the ice, and we're like, oh yeah, you know, they really need it from McKinnon. And as I am saying, it's not going to be we know it's not going to be a McKinnon one-timer, as the puck is going across to him, and he immediately scores on the one-timer, and you're just like, great. This is the greatest clip we'll ever have.
Sometimes it happens like that.
Yep.
Megan, mechanically, was there anything really different about these power plays in the third period? Or is it really just as simple as puck go net?
I think it's more as simple as puck go net because they were creating in the first period on those power play chances.
True.
They were just getting a lot of shots unusually blocked by the Anaheim Ducks,
Pretty
and
close.
they were missing shots.
Yep.
They were hitting the post, and so it wasn't for a lack of trying. It's not as if they just weren't creating, passes weren't connecting, the puck was just exiting their zone. They were actually controlling possession through most of those power plays. Didn't hate them, just a little bit of misfortune.
I would have liked it if they figured it out a little bit quicker.
Yeah,
But
I'm sure they would too, because that was a heart-racing third period.
When you talk about it's a game of inches, you look at they hit 3 posts in the first period.
Yep.
An inch here, inch there, and each of those shots.
this game is 4-0.
Yeah, you're looking at a multi-goal lead there. Max Jones with Eric Johnson in the recovery, game of inches, like little inches
Game's
here
over,
and there.
yep.
And as you're fighting over those inches, the Avs get that opportunity with the power plays, and I mean, you can't take anything away from that rocket from McKinnon. We see him airmail that shot over and over and over and over and over. But when he does connect,
The
on
one
it,
time it goes, it
My-
really goes.
and you're looking at it and you're like, that thing is it's perfect.
Yep.
There's nothing Lucas Dostal can do
Right.
on that. It's perfect.
Everything about this game for Lucas Dostal should feel like something to be proud of. He faced a lot of workload from pretty talented, high-octane offense in the Colorado Avalanche, and he stopped most of it.
And he had a lot of fun doing it.
Not often you can give a goalie in his first game the knife.
Honestly, there's been a few games he's been in because he plays for Anaheim where it just might need to be a mainstay, like in his glove.
Just like a little pop-out knife, or
No, dude, it's like a Bowie knife that just sits there and dangles from his locker and says, play better defense.
that'd be hilarious. Oh man. Okay. We did get well over 100 likes. We appreciate that from you, chat. I'm sure Tiff can pour us some shots with the glasses over there or something. Are they still over there? I don't know. I'm fine with reusing them. If I'll do it by myself if other people are not about it. Yes.
I actually don't know who we picked.
It's got to be McKinnon.
It was. So I had a hard time going back and forth between Mikko because Mikko has a 4-point night, breaks 100 points, ties Sakic's record, like has a great night, right? But Nathan McKinnon at the end, you're talking about this is your guy. Like you have made him for starting on July 1st the most the highest paid player highest paid player in the NHL. So you need to have moments like what we saw, and you didn't have it. You didn't have it last night. It was awful, right? It's an awful game from him. He was brutal. I beat him up a little bit in post game writing. It was just bad.
Yep.
And you were headed for that again tonight, where he just had not done enough for you. He had not closed it or hadn't finished. It just wasn't good enough from Nathan McKinnon, guy who is having a career year and like superstar player. Sometimes you need that superstar stuff. And at the end of this game, you sure got it in a big way.
You want to know why the Avs are better than the Anaheim Ducks? The last 10 minutes of this hockey game from Nathan McKinnon is why the Avs are better than the Anaheim Ducks. Look, Trevor Zegras, awesome player. Troy Terry, great goal scorer. None of those dudes are Nathan McKinnon.
Right.
He's just better. And it's...
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
With tonight, McKinnon's got 107 points on the season.
Yep.
In any other year, we are genuinely talking about him as probably an MVP shoo-in.
Yeah, certainly he's like in the like heart conversation. Unfortunately this year it just got run away with.
I think they should just create a different award
The
for
McDavid
McDavid.
And everybody else is MVP.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you would love for that to be the Ted Lindsay, but unfortunately all the players are going to be like,
Yeah, did you watch Connor McDavid?
Connor McDavid, guys, he's
Yes.
right there.
I can't even even if they voted for Nate would be like, you guys are dumb. You should not have voted for me for this.
I believe that.
Anyway, it's and part of this, as you said, is it's not just Nathan McKinnon. Yes, Mikko Rantanen had some incredibly boneheaded plays in this game, but he ends up with a 4-point night. He breaks 100 points. What did I do now?
You didn't do anything.
Nothing,
Okay,
man.
all right, good.
Poor Rudo. He's been accused of so much tonight.
It's just how the day goes. All right. But point being is the Avs have multiple of these guys, even on a night where your defense is extremely compromised. You still have absolute stars to get you through a game where you're pretty disappointed in stretches of it.
Yeah.
And you
I
can
mean,
just get away with that.
The third period, you're really, really, really down. You're
Yep.
looking at them and you're like, the division is right there. How do you not care more about this? How do you not care more about home ice through at least the first 2 rounds of the postseason if you make it that far? You know, how do you not care about this? You just had those advantages last year. Saw what they can do for you. How are you so blasé about this? How are against the Anaheim Ducks? How is this happening? Why do you not? It just felt like they were just like, well, we're not going to play KO. We're not going to play Byram. And, well, all right, well, now we don't have the lead anymore. And that's just kind of how it goes sometimes. And you're just like, why? Where is the championship spirit? Where is the team that just refused to go away? Where is the team that was they were the Never Say Die Goonies from last year? Where is that? And you finally saw it kick into gear. They get those power play opportunities. They're gifted them. It's incredibly fortunate, obviously, but they do something with them.
Yeah.
And then and they get the tie game, and then you have several minutes to play. They try to win it in regulation. They get into overtime and dominate overtime. They could have won overtime multiple times before whatever that penalty is gets called.
Slippery boy.
A couple things I want to talk about there in overtime. First of all, they survived the pairing of death. Mac and Mikko were out there together. Didn't lose the game. So that counts. AJ and I were pretty vocal about it on the watch along. Megan, how did you feel about that penalty call of the interference?
I wanted one more look at it. However, I think I leaned a little bit with where you were that I it felt kind of incidental and a non-issue in my eyes. I could see why they make that call, but because of the context of overtime, I didn't expect that. If it had been earlier in this game, because even in this game with how many calls happened, I still not sure I would have expected it unless it happened earlier on. But because it was overtime, I was a little surprised. I wanted one more look at it, though.
I really thought they were going to hit him with embellishment. When they stopped play immediately and they're looking at Erod, I was like, is one guy really going to go for this?
Felt like it should have just been nothing.
Yeah, agreed.
Could have easily been nothing.
I just don't know how you call that in overtime. I just don't. And I understand that's crazy coming from me as all people who advocate for no matter the situation, the rules should be the same. But I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. Anyway, can move on from that. Let's do these Dr. Dub shots here quickly before they get too warm.
The unrefrigerated alcohol.
Yeah, well, I did not think I was going to get these tonight. I did not believe that the Avs were going to figure that one out,
No kidding.
but they did. So, however you can get it, Dr. Dubs.
Yeah, see, that's Jaeger.
Yep.
I don't know what the deal was last night. tore me up, man.
Weird.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, the Avs do end up winning it on that power play in overtime. Yeah, Nathan McKinnon.
Yeah, Nathan
Do
McKinnon.
I need to say anything else? Like,
Talking about superstar things, he just does it.
that's where I'm at with it. I mean, kid brought his shady rays. You know, he looked into the future and was like, "Oh, it's too bright." They put on the shady rays, and then dominated the second half of the third period and all of overtime. You can get your Shady Rays at shadyrays.com, or if you're local, they have a brick and mortar in the Park Meadows Mall, which you can go check out. Tons of different styles, tons of different polarizations, all sorts of amazing stuff. You can get 2 pairs with a DNVR code. You get 50% off. That's essentially buy one, get one free glasses. And our favorite part is you break them, you can send them back. They'll replace them in the first 30 days. If you lose them, they'll replace them in the first 30 days. If you don't like them, you can send them back and get refunded in the first 30 days. So they're really looking out for you with your sunglasses. Go check them out at shadyrays.com. And then when you're looking fly, go hit up Illegal Pete's for some delicious food, not burgers, burritos.
Or bowls.
You can get bowls too. Fair point. They have like a lot of stuff. You could get like tacos and quesadillas, stuff like that. We absolutely love them. Their queso is amazing. They do happy hour from 3 to 6 p.m. If you're not Jaeger people like us, if you like tequila like Tiff, they got delicious margaritas down at Illegal Pete's too. So go check them out. There's one just a couple of blocks down from the DNVR bar. There's 10 of them here in Colorado. There's even one in Arizona, if that's your vibe. So go check them out. Yeah, there you go. Even Enrique shouting out that Shady Rays float if you want to take them out on the lake, which is not something that I really do, but the more you know.
Don't lie.
What?
We see you out there on the lake all the time.
I've been on a lake maybe 3 times in my entire life.
Lake life.
And I'm not a lake person. I'm not. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. We got a bunch of super chats, and then we'll try to wrap up and put our thoughts together on this nonsense.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
That's a lot of blue.
Yeah. $5 from Melanie, who says, sometimes they drive me crazy, but I love the Avalanche. Go Miko. On to the next. Thank you for your insight. Always appreciated.
Always love you, Melanie.
I like, it's our job, and I feel like we do a good job of it, and we're doing our best to explain it, but sometimes games like this are best just experienced.
Yeah, no, that's a great way to put it. This was one of those hockey games that you just kind of have to live through to be like, hockey, baby.
Yeah. Exactly.
Hockey, baby.
You just never really know.
$5 from Logan. Ugly wins this weekend, but 4 points is 4 points. Sometimes hockey is ridiculous and makes no sense, but that's why I love it. Finally, a nuke shirt. We should just let you guys do our show, honestly.
I tell you, the ugly win yesterday was heartening in a lot of ways, and the ugly win tonight was just like, whatever, you got your points. Let's not talk about it ever again.
You're right. They weren't created equally.
Yeah, definitely.
even close.
The one last night, you were like, yeah, go team. The one tonight, you're just like, got it, cool. Mm-hmm. See you in 2 days.
What happened? A W? Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I need to know. Big $20 from Jim, who says, let's go, y'all. Have a super chat for doubling down on the Avs, down 4-2 at plus 800.
Oh,
if we
yeah.
can get Landy plus Kale on the ice with Moose and Mac, a.k.a. playoff Mount Scattermore? Skate more? Yeah, okay. It's scary hours for others. The haters are absolutely sick. I mean, grats on the big dub with plus 800. That's good money right there.
Yeah, he should be buying winner shots.
No kidding. I mean, he kind of did, to be fair.
True facts. My bad. True facts.
20 from the incredible Drew, as always. Can we please just get to the 17th when the guys might 100% care again and the ridiculousness will hopefully end? We also need more AJ predictions in real time.
You know what? Sometimes they go really well, and it freaks me out, and then nights like tonight happen, and it makes you realize why you just don't predict the future, man.
Yep. It's impossible to do.
This is not a good way to be.
Thank you very much, Drew. $5 from the Schick, who says, may have been rough watching on TV, but in person, this comeback was fun as hell to watch. Let's go, Avs.
We were pretty sure we were watching you watch the game. If you were the Avs fan, we thought you were.
Yep. Were you at the front? Are you wearing that Nordique?
Yeah, wearing the Nordique's gear right behind the Ducks goal.
Yep. And then $10 from Tyler, who says, we play 5 games in 7 days to end the season, then only 2 days till playoffs. First, more important to not play the Wild or Stars versus our much-needed rest and injuries for the first round. So there's a good chance the Avs end up with like 4 days off if they don't play till the 19th. That's still up in the air very much when they could potentially start. So they'll probably get a decent amount of rest either way.
Yeah, we've got a pretty good suspicion that the Avs will not open on the 17th when the NHL does, that the Avs are 18th or 19th.
Yeah.
Still TBD. You know, there's a lot of
There will
things
be
that have
some
to be
shaking
figured
out.
out. But because the Avs finish that last day of the season, they're one of 2 games on the final day of the season.
Yep.
In the makeup day. Both of those games are makeup days
From
for
postponed
games.
games. Yeah.
That will be a reason why the Avs won't start on the 17th.
Yep.
Or they're not supposed to. We'll see how it all actually shakes out. But
and you never know.
should feel confident that they will not start the 17th.
But I think also to answer your other part of it, it's not just not wanting Minnesota and Dallas or in the first round. It's about securing home ice.
Yeah.
And I get the Avs haven't been the best team in the world on home ice, but if you experienced any playoff run, let alone the run last year, you understand how nuts a playoff crowd can be.
Yeah.
And certainly all teams, but I think the Avs, as much as any team out there, absolutely do feed off of crowds. So it does matter a little bit.
Yeah. It is weird, though, that this year the Avs have been such a dominant road team. And they've just been, like, fine at home.
Yeah.
I'll be curious to see if that takes any kind of a flip in the postseason
Yeah.
when the Avs will have close to their lineup in Game 1, but will definitely... I think there's going to be a different energy around the Avalanche that has not existed all season.
I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
Megan, there's a lot of tape to look at from this hockey game. How much of it is actually worth looking at, and how much of this is, let's just move on?
Honestly, I would only key in on tail end of second and parts of the third. I would keep it pretty focused on goals against.
Okay.
And because I'm sure they've covered some things from the mistakes of LA, which were important ones to cover coming into Anaheim. And then it just presents what shouldn't be a new mindset, but probably is in ways ahead of Edmonton. And that is, this is a playoff caliber team. You need to be different than you were against LA and against Anaheim. That's just the bottom line. So whether that means reflecting through tape or turning the page and only looking at a little bit of this game, I'll leave it up to the professionals, but they do need to have a different mindset.
Do they have a different lineup?
That's where I was heading to next. Yeah.
I don't have confirmation of this, but I do feel like if Bo is feeling a little bit better, you get Bo back in there.
Yeah.
100%. And I think that changes things quite a bit. I still think it's okay to continue being cautious with Cale Makar through the rest of these games, but I do think they are missing a little bit of a nit factor in some of these games. And it's good to see McKinnon sort of finish this game on the high note that he did, because hopefully it was a confidence booster, especially after LA was so tough on him, to lead into Edmonton. But I think they could benefit from a little added boost. Maybe in Arturi Lehkonen if he's feeling healthy.
You think there's a little extra
Take Lecky
between these two teams? Just they're still fighting for, both of them are still trying to win their divisions. So there's still something at play here.
For sure.
But do you think that when push comes to shove, are they going to treat it like a playoff game? Or are they both going to be like, hey, we're 72 hours from the end of our season. Let's take this seriously, but let's not go crazy here, fellas.
Right.
I don't think you'll see a comeback like you did in this game. I think I expect a more controlled, gradual sloping game, not a hedge hopper.
Does such a thing exist for the Oilers and the Avalanche?
Maybe not.
Like
Maybe
the fact
not,
that they played
but-
the 3-2 game earlier this year
Yeah.
where Brad Hunt tied it in the third period.
Yep.
Like that's the closest low scoring game that they've had in forever.
But I do expect it to be more sensical, I suppose. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, as long as your stars perform like your stars throughout the game. And that's not just a call out to like Av stars. I think it's going to be true of Edmonton too. Because I think there's added pressure then for these two teams that contain some of the league's record breakers on them of this season to prove that there's a reason that they belong in these conversations on both sides of it. The Dreisaitl's and the McDavids and the McKinnons and the Rantanens.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, look no further than Mac. You know that dude always wants to perform against the best. So, this one was nuts.
So glad it's over.
Me
dude.
too.
It's over. Tomorrow, you can keep an eye out for the At the Rink podcast that will be dropping. Be sure to check that one out. We also got some pretty cool stuff planned in the coming week. I guess it probably won't be out till the weekend, but lots of content coming your way.
Typical playoff stuff,
Yeah,
you know. We're
yeah.
gonna do previews of each series, and we're gonna get into it and
Make predictions that will be 100% correct.
yeah, exactly. We should really we should go back and look at our preseason predictions and see how close we got. Because I can tell you the answer is not very.
Close, yeah. And yet somehow we might still get the Avs winning the Central, right? So
Yeah, that might be one of the only things that the I'm trying to think how many different things we were so wrong about.
it was a lot.
It was a lot.
It was a lot.
It was a lot. Lots of Calgary love.
Yep.
I was big.
I
was
think
big
I
love.
was on that too.
It was that I
of
liked
us.
Anaheim as a wild card team. That's the one that I remember that I got way wrong. But I'm going to be the one who got the Kings right. Anyway,
Yeah.
different day, different topic. We're going to get out of here. We appreciate all y'all hanging out with us. It was fun. It was also a thing
was
that
a
I'm
lot.
not sure about.
It was a lot, and it's over. Let's get out of here.
Choo choo.